Meghan Markle in Paris. Rather more desperate than Emily in Paris and nowhere near as entertaining. It came out of the blue, utterly unexpected. Suddenly, the difficult Duchess was wafting through the most romantic city on earth, a vision in papal white, lending her regal presence to France's famous Fashion Week. Her first time at the shallow shows where thin models and thick men wear stupidly expensive clothes. Why was she there? Why did she leave her husband and children in Montecito to be seen at Gay Paris' legendary ode to haute couture? She says it was to pay tribute to her friend Paolo Piccioli, creative director of the House of Balenciaga. Attention-seeking as ever, she wore one of his outfits, a weird, cascading, bright white affair that made her look like a scruffy version of the Pope after a night on the tiles. At first I thought she'd had trouble getting out of bed and just shoved her head through the sheets. But with a dreary inevitability, the paparazzi photographs made the front pages. So, mission accomplished, which one senses is why Meghan really flew nearly 6,000 miles from California to get noticed. You might think that, amid her ongoing war with the Prince and Princess of Wales, Ms Markle was smarting after the PR triumph of William's heartwarming TV chat with actor-turned-travel documentary maker Eugene Levy, in which Wills told of his family's most difficult year as Kate bravely fought cancer. You might think that in her battle for column inches, Meghan was manically trying to grab back the headlines. You might think that, but I couldn't possibly comment. And could it be that while things appear to have gone ominously quiet on the as-ever front, with no talk whatsoever about how sales of her astronomically overpriced scam jam, honey, dried flowers and cookie dough are going, Meghan urgently needs to get herself and her baffling brand back in the papers. Am I being too cynical? You decide. And after Paris, Meghan and Harry went to New York to collect another honour they scarcely deserved, a Humanitarians of the Year award from the mental health organisation Project Healthy Minds. No one knows why. But back to Paris, where Meghan's catwalk scene experience was not quite an unmitigated success story. In vogue, the American Duchess sadly was not. Were the designer label elite thrilled by the former TV game show Glamour Girl's arrival? Not particularly if Meghan's C-list companions were anything to go by. Oh, how the Hollywood wannabe tried to get to the top of the style crowd's ladder. At one point, when Harry's social mountaineer wife approached immaculately upper-crust British star Dame Kristin Scott Thomas, she was, in the politest possible way, blanked. The ageless, glamorous actress simply nodded, smiled, and continued her conversation. Meghan reduced to awkwardly simply standing there, dare I say it, like a spare. Here's to the effortlessly classy Christine. There ain't nothing like a dame. Paris Fashion Week, one of the premier get-togethers of the celebrity calendar, also boasted such top-of-the-range guests as Anne Hathaway, Baz Luhrmann, Emma Stone, Zendaya, and even reality queens Kendall and Kylie Jenner, none of whom the publicity-conscious Duchess of Sussex managed to get pictured with. As one observer commented, Paris didn't ignore Meghan, it simply showed her what she's been missing, the kind of grace that doesn't need an audience. But as we all know only too well, Meghan has always needed an audience, and it's safe to say always will. Meanwhile, another blow for Mr. Meghan, aka Prince Harry, as it emerges that Sentebale, the African charity he helped to found but flounced out of in a racism row, has abandoned his favoured form of fundraising, posh polo events in Florida with his champagne-swilling multi-millionaire mates. The new directors are uncomfortable with what they always saw as patronising white saviorism, a charge, of course, that well-meaning simple soul Harry vehemently denies. But never mind, He's a Humanitarian of the Year. and so is the delighted Duchess. What precisely the gruesome twosome have done to be hailed for their boundless altruism remains something of a mystery. But there they were, two shining royal luminaries glowing at New York's 3rd annual World Mental Health Day Gala. Yay! Not since John Travolta presented him with his Legend of Aviation trophy has the petulant prince deserved such glorious recognition. Harry, the Legend of Aviation, who failed his helicopter pilot's test, has the dim Duke no shame. He'll go anywhere for an award, won't he, Samara?
Both of them will. I mean, they're both so shameless. Meghan, I mean, her attending that Balenciaga show, there are few celebrities that still are conducive with that brand and still want to get behind it after the scandal that it experienced just really a year ago.
Well, tell us about that, because it was to do with they advertised their products with these baby dolls all wrapped up in bondage gear.
Well, exactly.
A real child abuse scandal, right?
You have to be Meghan Markle level of desperate to associate yourself with a brand like that. Essentially what it had done, it was really, really scandal. It was a properly cancelled brand at the start of 2024. Because it did a photo shoot whereby children were wearing BDSM sex gear and showing teddy bears with it on as well. It was basically a very hypersexualized shoot.
Yeah.
And that was very recent, and the brand is still tarnished by it. So the fact that Meghan would still associate herself with that, given all the charity work that she does to protect children online, is an absolute farce. She's a hypocrite, Kev.
Yeah, there was another moment, and you made a good point about it, where I kind of sympathise with Meghan, but it doesn't go with her be kind image. So she's at the Balenciaga show, and a catwalk model sort of waddles up the catwalk as they do. And she fell over, or she nearly fell over, and here's Meghan giggling away. Now, I thought, well, if I was Meghan, I'd burst out laughing as well. But you're right, it doesn't really go with her image, her lovely, be kind image, does it?
No one else was laughing in that video. No one else was. She was the only one that somehow, you know, the model falling over got to her, made her laugh. I think, as I was saying to you, Ash, the mask did slip quite a bit. The mask fell off, and we can see her true personality, someone who relishes in someone else hurting themselves.
You see, I would laugh, but I'm not a very nice person, you know, so...
But you don't pretend to be a nice person, Ken.
I don't even pretend to be nice.
Our mask didn't fall off. It had already fallen off from the start, really. We knew it, you know, we knew what she's like.
Well, listen, earlier in the week, I spoke to Kinsey Schofield, and we'll show you the footage in just a little while. But Ash, I think the most controversial moment of Meghan's attention-seeking visit to Paris. She'd never been to those fashion shows before. Her last fashion show was 10 years ago. As I said in my monologue, nobody's talking about as ever. Nobody's talking about Meghan. Suddenly, she crops up looking like the Pope on a night on the tiles. Look at her, look at her.
Oh, yeah.
What a useless outfit. Balenciaga, my backside. But anyway, suddenly she turns up to get this attention, to get in the papers. You know what she's like. And but the worst moment, and everybody's trying to decide, Ash, whether it was deliberate or not. She's going past the tunnel in a limousine, in the back of a limousine. Yeah. Here it is. And this is the tunnel where poor Diana died in that terrible crash, 1998, wasn't it? All those years ago.
Yeah.
And there she's got her feet up and her toes up. And a lot of people say, did she do that on purpose? Because it's very disrespectful. I spoke to our royal guru friend, Kinsey Schofield, and here's what she had to say.
Andrew Morton writes about in his book how Meghan not only had his book, Diana, Her True Story, but in his Meghan Markle book, he writes about how Meghan was so moved by the death of Princess Diana that she collected toys and clothing for underprivileged children. And it's like, you should just know better. Like, are you really so stupid? Are you so callous? Are you so dismissive of your husband's feelings? Also, she makes a living off of her proximity to the British royal family. She must know what Paris means to royal watchers. It's where Diana had her last breath. It's where we lost Princess Diana, a woman whose skin she's constantly trying to wear and vulgarly become. Diana 2.0, Harry's always telling us she's just like my mom. So I just think that there's no excuse for it. I think she was trying to be a cute little influencer, and I think she comes off as a freaking moron.
Well, Kinsey not mincing her words there. What do you reckon, Ash? Do you think she did that on purpose?
Yeah, probably. I mean, was it actually in the tunnel that she did that?
No, she's got. You can see the tunnel to the right. Yeah, I don't know if you know Paris, but there's sort of
yeah, I'm
perimeter.
always in Paris.
Yeah. There, you can see the tunnel going down there.
yeah.
So, there it goes. It's
she's
to the right,
going,
her
yeah.
right. And there's her feet up there. Now, if she didn't do it on purpose, she should have thought it through. It was careless at best and really horrible at worst.
And she's filming it herself as well.
Yeah,
so
she did it on
she's done it
purpose.
on purpose,
Yeah,
yeah. And
that's
she's
awful.
she's trolling all the time, isn't she? She's always... But like you say, I mean, this Paris Fashion Week, she'll probably realise that this is what she's missing out on. She'd have lots of big events like that if she'd stayed with the royal family, and she's probably regretting it, and she wouldn't have to wear stuff like that.
So
Do you know what I mean?
It's such a flagrant disrespect towards Harry's trauma that he does bang on about a lot. But I mean, he has written very beautifully about it in Spare, or his ghostwriter wrote very beautifully about that tunnel, that moment, him talking about asking his driver to go down the tunnel at 65 miles per hour to feel that. And so the fact that Meghan just disregards that is disgusting.
Do you think it was a message to Harry?
Well,
Do you think they've fallen out quite badly?
Who knows? Perhaps she's just did it carelessly. But if she did it on purpose, it's really sinister. And as you say, Harry still obsesses on. I always say he should get over it a bit. I mean, he's 41 years old. He was about 3 when it happened. No, he's a bit older.
And William's all right, isn't he?
You know,
what I mean?
so he obsesses on it overly, and but he still, by the way, he still won't accept the truth that it wasn't the paparazzi chasing Diana's chauffeur-driven car through that tunnel. It was the fact that the driver was completely drunk off his face on about 3 bottles of brandy. That's what killed it.
Or could it have been the security services?
Well, it wasn't the paparazzi.
No, I don't think so.
It wasn't it was a drunken driver that killed her. Harry won't have that. That doesn't fit in with his worldview. Either way, though, I don't blame the guy for thinking about the awful circumstances in which his poor mother died. And because of that, perhaps Meghan should have been a bit more sensitive about putting her feet up as she goes past the tunnel.
She knew what she was doing, didn't she?
I don't know, but it's not very nice. It's not a good look, Samara.
Well, what I do glean from this trip is that it is really a proper professional divorce for both of them. I mean, when you... I'm really not sympathetic to Harry and his crazy 1 foot in, 1 foot out royal escapades. But when he did come to the UK just a couple of weeks ago, at least he was going to the Well Child. He was doing charity events. It completely doesn't go with Meghan's glitzy glam of Paris Fashion Week. There's a real chasm here between both brands, and it's really weird.
Yeah, it is weird. I mean, more and more you sense she wants to establish herself as the star of the family. But of course, this weekend we're filming this just before they go to New York to pick up their Humanitarians of the Year award. As I say, that's his most deserved award since he got a Legends of Aviation award from John Travolta, a man who failed his helicopter pilot test, a legend of aviation. He's got no shame in the awards he'll take. What do you think it is, Ash, that these two have done to deserve a Humanitarians of the Year award? Anything at all?
Well, the scam jam, it brought a lot of jam to the people, to rich
Jam
people.
maker of the year.
And the flowers on the... but that's about it, isn't it? But that is a lot. You know, they've really helped out. And the rosé, where you can buy only 3 bottles and 20 quid postage.
By the way, on the As Ever, Kinsey was telling me, I can say this because she said it on air, she's been making a documentary about Meghan and Harry in LA. And the company the production company, they wanted to get the full array of Meghan's produce, her dreary domestic produce.
Oh, yeah.
You know, the scam jam, the honey, the cookie dough, the dried flowers, the wine.
The pasta with the lemon thing that we
all
have.
of it. Well, no, all the actual things you can buy from As Ever. And so they sent off for them. Yeah. And 3 weeks later, they got one thing, a bottle of wine. They didn't get any of the rest. So I wonder what the hell's going on with that, Zebra. I think it's all but over and out, don't you think, Samara?
I think it is absolutely dead in the water. I mean, she did that whole Bloomberg interview where she says, we've scaled the products, we've scaled the products. Turns out that the hundreds of thousands of jams that she did order didn't sell out, and then they had a kind of a process to try and sell them afterwards. So the rollout was a failure. And I think this trip to Paris does signify some sort of, again, change in her branding, because it's not conducive with I'm a jam maker in Montecito to then show up at a Balenciaga show. Pick one, Meghan.
Absolutely. Also, Ash, there's no doubt at all in my mind, we've seen this pattern of behaviour by Meghan over the years, that whenever William and Kate are looking good in the papers or in the media, on the TV, she has to hit back. Who can forget that notorious time when brave Kate made her first public appearance for a year after revealing that she was suffering from cancer? She turned up for the Trooping the Colour. Meghan suddenly, the day before, launched a brand of dog biscuits to try and get in the paper. I mean, it was a pathetic attempt. It didn't work.
Yeah, we've never seen them. We've never seen the dog biscuits.
We've never seen them either. But it was typical of her. So last week I watched it. I did actually watch it. It was one of the best things I've ever seen a member of the royal family do. And it was William showing Eugene Levy, the really likeable, he's Canadian actually, American Pie star, around Windsor Castle. They go for a pint. In this interview, William talked about his plans to modernise the royal family, not get dogged down in a tradition. It was a little bit of a veiled attack on his dad. He said he's sort of saying, bit too stuffy, I'm going to modernise it. But of course, he also spoke about the worst year of his life, his family's difficult year as Kate battled cancer. The whole thing, it was such a nice bit of television. It really was. And William came across brilliantly. Eugene Levy is just a natural. He's a natural. He's not a journalist, but he might as well be, because he interviewed William brilliantly. I can't imagine that Meghan didn't see that and think, I've got to get back. I've got to do something here. Hence, she hopped on a plane and went to the Paris fashion shows, right?
Well, she is Machiavellian, isn't she? And that's why this thing with her filming in the car was never an accident.
Yeah, no. It's all
planned, and but everyone can see through it. And it must all go through her rubbish publicity people who keep giving her bad advice.
That's
true.
I mean, the Eugene Levy, I watched on a Sunday evening. It was like a masterclass in modern monarchy and how to do it. I mean, genuinely.
Were they like friendly with each other? I haven't seen it.
The reason William did it is he was when he was a kid, he was a big fan of the American Pie movie.
Yes, which he said to Eugene.
And what was great, which of course Eugene Levy starred in. Eugene Levy, very, very funny actor. I didn't realise he was Canadian, actually. So, you know, more of a connection with the royal family. And what I loved about him, it was just it was a brilliant piece of journalism, although he's not a journalist. He just asked the gentle questions.
Because William probably was relaxed around him.
And William did actually at one point mention Harry, just talked about when him and Harry were growing up. But Eugene Levy was asked after, why didn't you ask him about the feud with Harry? He just said, didn't want to.
That wouldn't have gone down too well anyway.
And you can see, I mean, he was practically shaking when he got the invitation from William. Like, he's a total royal...
William turned up on an electric scooter. And I was usually standing there in the grounds of Windsor Castle, and he goes, and he sort of trolls up like this, stands there on his scooter, and Eugene Levy goes, Your Royal Highness. It was great television.
Was it like a limo scooter?
No.
Blacked out windows.
Man of the people.
No, you don't have blacked out windows on a scooter, Ash.
No, you wouldn't.
Do you?
No.
I mean, it was such a nice change.
He gets around the Windsor grounds on it. That's how he gets around.
Yeah, I've got one of those, but I haven't got grounds to ride around.
The grounds of your castle.
I haven't got the grounds, yes.
You haven't got the grounds to ride
it round me drawing.
You're wondering why you bought it.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
It showed you the difference in the brothers. I mean, it was such a nice change.
Yes.
From Harry's usual whinge fest about how he's a victim and how the royal family destroyed his life and how they're very suppressive. This was William looking towards the future and saying, this is what I want to change. I acknowledge some of the mistakes and I'm going to do something about it. I mean, this is someone who is a proper leader, not the spare.
Yeah, it just came across as a nice guy. He had a pint of cider. Eugene had a pint of Guinness. He said to Eugene, because this series, I recommend the series, by the way, it's very good.
I'll have a look, yeah.
Seen the other episodes as well. It's sort of his travel bucket list. He's always been allergic to travel. So he's come up with all these things to do. And William said to him, was getting drunk with the Prince of Wales on your bucket list? Eugene Levy said, actually, it is the bucket.
How many points did they have?
They're only seen having one. But anyway, I can almost state as a fact, I think, Meghan saw that and thought, I need to fight back. I need to get in the papers. So she turned up dressed in a toilet roll in Paris and made the front pages. Well done, Meghan. Let's go to a bad ad.
It's now open, Gigolo's Disco Diner, Wyler's ultra-modern family carvery and entertainment centre in the Telford Westland Motor Inn. Gigolo's offers an extensive menu at very reasonable prices. This exciting new concept in dining and entertainment is ideal for the family for a business lunch or for a night on the town. Gigolo's Disco Diner open for lunch and dinner. Gigolo's at the Telford Westland Motor Inn. Check it out today.
That takes you back, doesn't it, Samara?
Yeah,
how many nights and days have you spent at Gigolo's?
That specific one. Gigolos has a different meaning.
I know what gigolos mean.
Comes a male prostitute.
And on that Gigolo's bombshell, let's go to some real ads.
He's mad as hell. It's Kevin O'Sullivan.
And welcome back to part 2 of What Just Happened. This is when it is time for this.
3, 2, 1.
Yes, it's the big moment when we choose what we think is the most interesting story of the week. Actually, there was lots to choose from this week. But we decided on, we plumped for old doom goblin Greta Thunberg on another one of these ridiculous flotillas. Loads of these boats going across the Mediterranean and heading for Gaza. She did it a couple of months ago. And, of course, the poor old Israelis, the Israeli Navy has to set out to sea, intercept Greta for her own safety and her stupid friend's own safety as well. This time, I think there are about 25, 30 boats on this. And the Israelis had to intercept the Doom Goblin again and all her stupid friends for their own safety. If they got to Gaza, you know, it's not exactly the most safe place on earth. The Israelis had to do this. Of course, they had to then put Greta and her mates in jail. And, of course, Greta didn't like it. Check it out.
And what Israel did was mainly not to illegally abduct us in international waters and abuse us in prison, but it was that it stopped a humanitarian mission and violating international law by preventing humanitarian aid from entering Gaza. And this is a blatant violation of international humanitarian and maritime law. And I also want to make it very clear that our imprisonment by Israel is a direct result of our governments.
When did you... I should learn.
Yeah.
I want to make it a direct result of the international law. No, they're saving your life, you dumb little girl. Anyway, she then said that she got abused in prison. And she's just ridiculous. When did she go from trying to save the planet? She used to just want to save the entire planet. Do you remember when she said, this was about 10 years ago, she said, the entire planet, the whole of Earth, by 2024 will be underwater.
Yeah.
How did that work out for you,
How dare
Gret?
you?
How did that work out for you, Gret? Anyway, she's gone from wanting to save the entire planet to just Gaza. And, you know, this nonsense about, it's against humanitarian law, international law. They were saving her life, right, Samara?
Of course they were. I mean, she just goes with the tide and goes with the flow as to what's fashionable on the day.
Yeah, saving the planet is so last year,
It
isn't it?
really is. I mean, we think about it. Her dad is actually quite a famous director over in Sweden. She was almost, I wouldn't say an industry plant, but she was someone who really, really sort of had a brand that she needed to build around her. I don't take anything she says seriously, but I think it's quite interesting when you look at her saying she was very happy for the fake news about her getting dragged by the hair by some IDF soldiers and everything. It went around, basically, in the news that she was getting abused when she was taken into custody by these people. Not true, and she's had to denounce that in that post.
So what is all this? What are all, the neck going forward? You know what I think about her? I mean, I think she's thick, she's dumb, she's stupid.
Well,
and
she only
that's
went to
because she
school.
didn't really go to school. She spent all of her school years sitting outside the Swedish parliament protesting.
And there was
She
no
should have gone
aid.
to school.
There was no aid on the flotilla. There was an undercover person who's filmed it. There was no aid. And then I read today...
Well, they ate it all, didn't they? Every time they take all this food, they always eat it all.
Yeah, just have a nibble. But also,
Isn't she in trouble for a tweet today or something?
yeah, she put out a picture. She said, this is starving prisoners in Israeli
Oh, that's right.
jail.
Yes.
And it was Aviatar David, who's the guy, the Israeli hostage, who looks like someone coming out of Belsen concentration camp and made him dig his own grave. It's disgusting.
That's right. She said, this is what the Israelis are doing to the poor Palestinians in Gaza. Put a picture.
No, in prison, in the Israeli prison.
Yeah, in the Israeli prisons. And it was a picture of one of the Hamas Israeli hostages in those tunnels that's been there for 2 years.
Yeah, fake
so,
news
I mean,
again.
come on. What the hell does she think she's doing? Anyway, we all have a very disparaging view of the doom goblin, Greta Thunberg. And so does the President of the United States of America, Mr. Donald Trump. Take it away, Donald.
She's a troublemaker. She has an anger management problem. I think she should see a doctor. She needs anger. If you ever watch her, she's a young person. She's so angry. She's so crazy. No, you can have her. You can have. She's just a troublemaker.
He's right.
She's right. Yeah. She's so angry.
Greg Gutfeld said this on Fox News. It's like, we don't deserve Trump. Like, genuinely, he's the best. Like, the way that he characterizes
He's not a stand-up
people.
comic, isn't he? The old style.
He's a very, very funny guy, and he's got her just right. I mean, that's the thing about Greta Thunberg. Is, why are we doing this story? Because she's hilarious.
Yeah.
She thinks she's this great sort of protester, this fabulous, campaigner for fantastic causes, the world, now Gaza, and everybody just laughs at her. She's a joke.
It's the only real comedy you get these days.
I mean, there was a time when you all had to... everybody had to be nice to her. I remember, because I used to sort of tweet about what an idiot she was. People say, leave her alone, she's only a kid. And it was like, hang on a sec, well, tell her to shut up then. That's when she was 14, 15. Well, she's about like 56 now. So,
She is.
she's almost a pensioner. So we're allowed to criticise her now, right?
I mean, I'm a little bit annoyed with Israel constantly protecting her. I want her to step foot into Gaza and understand that they don't really like her gender-neutral type over there. They don't really like her denim cut-offs that show her ass cheeks.
Yeah.
And her
Thanks for that. Yeah.
No, they're not, seriously.
We don't like him either.
Nice image there.
Sorry, but the Hamas soldiers are not exactly going to like this sort of thing.
Yeah.
I call her a thing because you can't even really see what... She's gender neutral at this point.
Yeah, well, memo to Israel and the IDF and the Israeli Navy. Next time she comes in one of her flotillas, let her get to Gaza. Let her get there, for God's sake, and see how she gets on. And don't you forget, by the way, that flotilla, when it was going across the Mediterranean, they stopped off at Tunisia to pick up all these LGBTQ campaigners. So already on the boat were all these kind of pro-Palestinians, Muslim people.
Yeah.
And Greta was appalled because the pro-Palestinian Muslims really didn't take kindly to the LGBTQ people. In other words, they weren't quite as pro-gay rights as Greta hoped they were. Shall we move on to the small moment for the viewers around the world? I think the Australians will be aware of our useless Conservative Party. I think we're seeing it in its dying throes right now. For Americans who might not quite be au fait with our sort of right of centre party. They're the party that Nigel Farage, the friend of Donald Trump, is destroying. He's set up the Reform UK party, and right-wing people in Britain are flocking there because the Conservatives have abandoned conservative principles. They have 14 years they were in charge of this country. They let millions of migrants come in. They were liberal. They tried to pretend they were semi-socialists. And proper conservatives went, hang on a second, this isn't why we voted for you. So they're now all flocking to reform. So after, what is it, a couple of glorious centuries, the Conservative Party, the Tories as we call them, are dying a terrible death. They're having their conference right now, ripples of applause, tiny little crowds there. And just to prove what a mess they're in, the big exhibit of the conference was you could get these chocolate bars. When Labour negotiates, that's their rival party, Britain loses. However, and then that's signed by the leader, Kemi Badenoch. Unfortunately, what that actually says is when Labour negotiates, Britian loses. They can't even spell the name of this country. It's ridiculous.
I mean, the Tories really need to get their act together. Everyone is looking at a kind of, well, no one's really looking in their direction, but people are looking for them to trip up at every step. And the fact that they can't even get that together shows that they have no right running an opposition party in this country.
Yeah. Well, for the Americans, imagine if the Republicans, even before Donald Trump, but imagine now if Donald Trump sort of basically said, well, you know, I'm all for LGBTQ rights and trans people can run the army and I'm going to open the borders. That's basically what our Republican Party did, the Conservative Party. 14 years. And the electorate here just won't forgive them. And we think that they're finished and they fully deserve it. At the Hall in Manchester, town in the north, city in the north, they've put this huge black curtain across half of the hall because the hall is too big for them.
Oh, to make it look full?
Yeah, tiny little crowds.
God.
It's a tragic sight. It's a tragic
What was the
sight.
chocolate? Was it like fruit and nut or what?
I really don't know. I haven't gone into that.
Yeah.
I'll look into
Well,
that.
fruit and nut, much like Kemi Badenoch.
Yeah, fruit and nut. Yeah, it should be. Let's go to a bad ad.
Darryl Snails, we really do it all. We'll rent you a VCR. Install air conditioning in your car. We'll repair your colour telly.
Gas your air and fix your aerial.
Then there's our range of hi-fi sounds to set your mood by. An entertaining afternoon,
A romantic interlude.
the hi-fi sounds of rock and roll, filling up your room with soul. At Darryl Snails, we really do it all.
It's where Samara did all her electrical shopping. Let's go to a real break.
He's mad as hell. It's Kevin O'Sullivan.
Welcome back. Part 3 of What Just Happened. And it is time for viewers' questions. What have we got, Samara?
We've got comedian Lenny Henry says Britain must pay £19 trillion in slavery reparations. Do you think that's enough?
No, definitely not. I think it should be at least twice that. Lenny Henry, for our viewers abroad, is a man. He's 67 years old. He's supposed to be a comedian. This is the first funny thing he's ever said. So at long last, Lenny's getting some laughs. So Americans will know that, you know, for example, I think it's the city of San Francisco wants to give every black resident like $5 million each reparations for slavery of the past. Nonsensical, you know. Well, Lenny wants Britain, our country, to pay £19 trillion to the Caribbean nations where we used to keep slaves. So it's reparations for slavery. And then he wants to give all black residents of Britain, you know, thousands, millions of pounds or whatever, every single person here, again, to compensate for the slavery that most of them probably don't even know ever existed in the Caribbean. Lenny Henry is mad, absolutely mad. He's actually called Sir Lenny Henry. We knighted him.
God.
He's a real do-gooder. You know, he's always doing charity.
Multi-millionaire as well, of course.
Yeah, of course he is. Of course he is.
Our GDP is 3.4 trillion. So that's like, I mean, my maths is shocking, but that's about 5 times our GDP.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it's China's GDP.
Yeah, he's written a book called, I think it's called Payback Time. I mean, what a lot of... I mean, what planet is he on? What planet
Britain should be compensated for, you know, fighting all the slavers and freeing the slavery. And also, you know, people like him have done very well out of living in Britain.
Well, why don't we go for Italy, for the Roman Empire? They came and invaded us.
Well, then there was African...
They owe us money, the Italians.
African states
the Romans.
cleared out our country for slaves and took them back to North Africa.
It's a nonsense. It's a nonsense. Of course you don't pay reparations and compensation for stuff that happened 3-4 centuries ago. It's bizarre. It's insane. It's deranged. Let's get the next question, shall we?
Well, we don't have any money left. And speaking of that, the NHS has been criticised for promoting the benefits of first cousin marriage. What do you think? And Kev and Ash, would you marry your cousin?
So first cousin marriages are popular among sub-Saharan Africans, Muslim communities all over the world, and in Britain. There's a lot of first cousin marriages in Britain among the Muslim community, Islamic community. They think they're a good idea. Bizarrely, we don't ban first cousin marriages in this country, but we should, because they cause birth defects, sometimes serious. You've got a really bad chance if first cousins, like, inter-family sexual relations, incest.
Like the royal family, you can see how it's messed Harry up.
But they don't. Yeah, I mean, the reason they say that the royals are pretty around the world, royal families are a bit thick, is because they've been incestuously having sex with each other for centuries.
The king and the queen were cousins.
First cousins, third cousins, auntie and uncle, they were everything.
Yeah. So there's a move to outlaw first cousin marriages, and they should be. But what's happened here in this country is our extremely woke National Health Service that we all pay for, the taxpayers pay for, has announced that there's a lot of benefits from first cousin marriages. That you can have children with birth defects. This is the woke capitulation to the Islamic community, that it's far more important to be woke about our Muslim friends than it is to care about the birth of their children with birth defects.
They said it's good for family cohesion. They might have one eye in the middle and one eye, but it's good. And all that economically, because you've only got one set of grandparents, so you've got to buy less presents.
It's bizarre, isn't it, that we even allow it in this country?
I mean, it really is, and it is this capitulation to cultures that are not our own. I mean, sure, of course, we joke about the royal family. When I reference the king and queen, I'm talking about the late queen. But it doesn't happen anymore here because we've learnt better and we trust science. And
well, it does happen here. It's allowed to happen here.
But I'm saying it doesn't happen in sort of like in the Anglo communities. This has very much become a...
You could if you wanted to, though, and it needs to be outlawed. I mean, this causes deformed children. It's as simple as that.
Which costs the NHS millions as well on top of the...
Well, it's about the public health thing, isn't it?
If you into incestuous first cousin marriages, there is twice as much chance of a child being born with birth defects than, shall we say, a normal marriage.
I think it's a lot more than that. I think that's another
I know the statistic. I know the statistics.
Yeah, but
there's a doctor.
It's actually in normal circumstances, you've got something like 2.8% chance of having a child with birth defects, and it's a nearly 6% if you have a first cousin marriage.
I mean, there's a doctor that we know.
So it's twice as bad. It's ridiculous that our health service says it's a great thing.
Oh, I was just going to say that doctor that we know, she said that there are wards full of them. And unfortunately, it's on the taxpayer dollar that they're having to be treated. And quite frankly, it's very unfair to bring a child into the world knowing that they might have birth defects and might have a terrible quality of life. I mean, that is simple as that.
Yeah, the defenders of it say, it's very popular in sub-Saharan Africa. Where? Well, if it's popular in Sub-Saharan Africa, why didn't you say? Unbelievable. Third question.
Restaurant Nando's says that customers are now restricted to just one Coca-Cola under new government rules. Has the nanny state gone too far?
Yes.
Yeah.
This is all about sugar in drinks and all that. And at Nando's, the popular restaurant here, you ever go to Nando's?
Yeah, it's all right, actually.
Yeah.
I like the refillable drinks.
Yeah, you can't get them anymore.
that.
I've never been to Nando's. Seems too cheap to me.
Okay, man of the people.
I like to pay through the nose when I go to a restaurant. But seriously, you get, refill, or you can drink refillable Coca-Colas. Yeah. And because we have a government that is cracking down on sugar consumption, our soda drinks, fizzy pop drinks, are taxed, sugar tax. Nanny state, it's bad for you and all that. We make the decisions about what we eat, not the bloody government. Anyway, Nando's have fallen into line with our nanny state government by now saying you can't keep refilling your drink. You can only have one. To hell with Nando's for that, don't you think?
I mean, power to the Americans, but if they tried to enforce this in America, I think there'd be riots on the streets, fairly so, because it should be a free country. I mean, this government overreach, when we look at the NHS saying, yeah, you can have first cousin marriage, but then banning one Coca-Cola to one person, they need to pick one. Are we going to be an authoritarian state, or are we going to have freedom?
I bet they wouldn't ban buying another Coke, for the full price.
Well, I'm not sure about that, but I mean, I just think the thing is, we're grown adults. We make our own decisions about what we eat. If I want to drink 63 Coca-Colas in a day,
which you do,
which I do every day, and eat a load of chips and smoke myself stupid, that's my decision. I don't want the government sticking its nose into my life. Nanny statism. So Nando's, get your act together. Raise your game. Let's go to a bad ad.
Some days are a crisis for carpets.
Oops. Oh, no.
Oh,
sorry.
So, Godfrey's have just released a fantastic batch of late model used Electrolux that cope with every crisis. Features include double filtered air, easy moving wheels, dust indicator, and famous Electrolux suction. Godfrey's sale price is just $99, less a very special trade-in allowance. And remember, cleanliness is next to Godfreyness.
I'll tell you what the crisis is old Godfrey's haircut.
No, I love Godfrey.
Now there's a comb over. Oh, you do love Godfrey.
Yeah, I met Godfrey. I have
actually met Godfrey?
I met the Godfrey.
Were you seduced by his lovely hair?
Well,
that is a comb over. That is a
vacuum.
You think you like that vacuum, yeah?
Yeah, I do.
It's got great suction, the Electrolux.
Yeah, it has.
That's 99 Australian dollars. In other currencies, that's £2.50 in Britain and $4 in America, right?
You're not wrong. Yeah, you're not wrong. It's pretty bad. Yeah.
Godfrey's brilliant. Let's go to a break, shall we?
He's mad as hell. It's Kevin O'Sullivan.
Right, it is the complaints department. What have we got?
The ghost of Elsie says, always watch every week, but can never take my eyes off Ash.
Oh, right, you two getting all the love. I'm not getting anything.
Terrible, poor
She watches every week. Thank you, Elsie. Next week, write a similar message about me, okay?
Yeah, man.
Go on, Ash.
From Daisy Blue, Samara, I think you need to listen more and talk less. Poor Errol Musk hardly managed to complete a sentence without you interrupting him. It was painful to watch.
Is this when he came on the show? Yeah, no, I don't know. But that is my problem. I think it is like a mental disorder.
One of your many problems.
Yeah.
I remember Errol Musk, he came on our show and he said, President Macron's wife is a woman. And not only that, it's his father.
Yeah, by the way, can I just make a point about... I'm obsessed with this story that everybody denies about Brigitte Macron, the wife of Emmanuel Macron, the French president, being a man, right? Candace Owen, the big-name YouTuber in America, did a series about it. Now, Brigitte Macron is now suing Candace Owen, saying, outrageous slur. And she's sort of, I'm taking her to court. I've got all these pictures that prove I'm a man. I prove I'm not a man, that I'm a woman. Why doesn't she just submit herself to a biological test?
Good question.
Why doesn't she just do that? I mean, I'm not making any aspersions, but why? Surely Bridget Macron should just say, I'm a woman, I'm going to have a biological test. Candace Owens, you owe me $1 million.
Photos don't prove
Why
anything.
does it? Never mind the pictures, Bridget.
Could be anyone's.
Do a test. Do a test. Chromosomes are easily discernible. Do a test. OK, Ash?
From Nick Martin, Samara is stunning and an Aussie. Perfect woman.
I think that's like the worst
it's the Aussie bit that worries me. You two getting all this love and I'm getting nothing.
Send Kev something.
Hey, everybody, I'm the host. Go on, Samara.
Domo X Ava says, Ash, you are so handsome.
Oh.
See, what is this?
Keep it up.
What is
and
this?
a life-size
I'm
penis.
definitely better looking than Ash,
Fantastic.
100%. There's no doubt about that.
Well, that's true.
Mind you, that's setting the bar low, let's be fair.
Whoa!
What have we got next?
This is from Nudnik, the Nudnik.
Nudnik.
And he says, Samara, an interesting, lovable star. Yeah, again, I mean, these are meant to be full of hate, these tweets.
Any messages about me? You know, the guy who makes all the
nothing,
effort.
Man. No, I know.
Go on, Samara.
The Duftmeister says, wow, Kevin O'Sullivan on 2 occasions saying that someone has terrible hair. He uses the same barber as Michael Heseltine. He shouldn't be criticising anyone's
You
hair.
see, so I finally get a mention, but not in a good way.
Michael
Great,
Heseltine, yeah.
great.
Do you share a barber with Lord Heseltine?
Yeah, an old politician.
No, I certainly do not.
A little
Go on,
bit.
Ash.
This is a bit of advice for you, Kev. It's from
thank you. Yeah, great. I'm looking forward to this.
Well, it's a bit of car advice. Peter Williams says, Kevin, my guess is your Mini has gone into limp mode, that's all. Simply turn off the ignition and restart it.
Oh, yeah, but we were discussing my car the other week, yeah. We were talking about computers, weren't we, in cars?
I thought that was a euphemism for something.
No, I was just going to throw this out there. I'm going to throw this out there. You know, why have cars now got computers? It's just another thing that goes wrong.
It's just a laptop on wheels, yeah.
You know, whenever my car goes wrong, it's the computer. So if it didn't have a computer, the car wouldn't go wrong ever. So thank you very much. Next,
Mini's in limp mode.
Yeah. Yeah. My Mini's drooping. Come on.
Ruth has said, excellent show, guys. As always, I'm with Kev on the issue of babies. I'm in my 60s and I've never had any sprogs, never wanted any. Yeah, I can see that.
So people say to me, why did you never have kids? Don't like them.
Yeah, love
They
it.
like me though, kids. Kids always like me. It's because I'll tell you why. It's because I have no idea how to talk to children, so I talk to them exactly the way I talk to grown-ups, and they seem to like it.
I've heard some stories.
Yeah.
You've caused some therapy sessions.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I've also sent a lot of kids into therapy, but that's different. Go on, Ash.
This is a bit of dermatological advice now from Brendan Garan, or is it Brenda and Garan? Kevin, I think you are great, but please get some help with your skin condition on your hands and maybe elsewhere.
They're fixed. They're fixed.
Yeah, they look great.
No, I did. I tell you know what I did? I think I've explained
What
this.
happened, man?
I went to Barbados at Christmas.
Oh, that'll do it.
I fell asleep, because I'm Flash. I fell asleep in the sun. Well, I thought I was in the shade, but my hands were hanging out in the sun, and I nearly burnt all the skin off.
God.
And so I've been seeing a sort of skin specialist for a long time, and they're finally coming back to normal. But it's a good spot because they were for a long time. My hands were covered in band-aids and God knows what. So
he says he only says this because he likes you.
Yeah. No. Thank you. I'm well noticed. One more.
The Chalk King says, talkTV and Ash just churn out the most pathetic ever known to man. Oh my God,
Thanks,
that's
man.
so mean. That's so mean.
There's no doubt about that.
I'm used to it, man.
How dare
Well,
you?
that's Ash for you.
Yeah.
Go on,
That's
Ash.
why I'm here. Ruth says, excellent show, guys, as always. I'm with Kev on the issue of babies. I'm
We
in
just
my
did that one, didn't we?
Forget
it.
The other
We'll
one is the same.
We'll go
as
to
well,
a bad ad. We're going to
Yeah,
go to a bad ad.
Let's go.
Paintspot's got the lot. Paintspot's got the lot. There's every brand right at hand. Paintspot's got the lot.
You can't beat Dulux Weather Shield Gloss, 4 litres for just $24.90, or Wash and Wear Flat, 4 litres just $23.90. And there's more in your Paintspot catalogue.
Paintspot's got the lot. Paintspot's got the lot. There's a store right at hand, and Paintspot beats the lot. Paintspot beats the lot.
Is that where you met Godfrey?
Yeah,
Both of you were.
I have Yeah, I am. This is
There's
like,
only about 6 shops in Melbourne.
I don't know. I was a child once in Melbourne. This is a Melbourne-based
What kind
band.
of child
Like a
goes and gets
playground.
pots of paint like that?
It was a dark and...
What, were you a child house decorator?
let's not talk about my dark childhood.
Yeah, well, so she spent so many dark years in paint spots. And
triggering.
on that bombshell, big thank you to Flash Ash Gould. Good to have you back, mate.
Thanks,
and
mate.
as always, the brilliant Samara Gill. I've been mediocre. You've been an amazing audience. We're going to be back next week with more of the same. Don't forget, you must tune in to next week's edition of What Just Happened. See you then.